Look me in the eyes and tell me you expected this. For years, summer showcases have felt like a corporate checklist. Safe sequels, battle passes, games designed by committee to extract your money instead of capturing your imagination. But this time, something shifted. We just witnessed a lineup that didn't just showcase technology, it weaponized nostalgia, answered decades-old prayers, and took some of the biggest risks this industry has seen in a generation. But behind the beautiful cinematic trailers and the deafening crowd roars, what is the actual reality of these games? Today, we are stripping away the publisher PR no corporate scripts, just an honest, deep, one-by-one breakdown of all 13 major announcements from Summer Game Fest. Grab a drink, lock your doors, and let's talk about what's actually coming to our screens.
Rain shall cease. In the name of the Father!
Stellar Blade, Blood Rain. Let's start with a shockwave. We all knew Shift Up was cooking a sequel, but Stellar Blade, Blood Rain caught everyone completely off guard. They didn't just copy-paste the formula, they completely broke it. Swapping out the elegant, razor-sharp swordplay of Eve for a new protagonist, wielding heavy, industrialized robo-knuckles changes the entire emotional weight of the combat. When you watch this trailer, the impacts feel heavy. It's visceral. It shifts the game from a stylistic dance to a desperate, muddy brawl for survival in a world drowned in neon and rain. My honest take? This is a massive gamble. Fans who fell in love with the precise parries of the first game might feel disoriented by this new aggressive weight. But looking closely at the enemy designs and the sheer kinetic energy on screen, Shift Up is proving they aren't afraid to evolve. It's dark, it's beautiful, and it feels incredibly personal.
They lie. They're bullies.
Yes, dogs? Yeah, I got one of them.
Next up, Crossfire. This franchise has always occupied a strange space in Western gaming. It's an absolute titan globally, yet it constantly fights for a distinct identity here. The new footage shown at SGF feels like a direct response to that struggle. It's hyper-polished, visually striking, and the gunplay looks incredibly snappy. But let's be entirely real for a second. We've been burned by tactical shooters trying to find their footing before. The trailer shows incredible visual fidelity, but a competitive shooter lives and dies by its netcode, its balancing, and its community respect, not its cinematic trailers. I want to love this. The tactical pacing looks phenomenal, but until we get our hands on the mouse and keyboard to feel the recoil control ourselves, we have to view this with a healthy dose of skepticism. It has the look, now it needs the soul. Stranger than heaven. Every now and then, a trailer comes along that stops the entire industry in its tracks. Stranger Than Heaven did exactly that. Seeing the digital likeness of Tupac Shakur integrated into a narrative-driven project isn't just a technical showcase. It's an emotional lightning rod. It immediately sparks a deep, complicated conversation about legacy, art, and storytelling. The atmosphere of this trailer is thick, melancholic, and deeply poetic. It doesn't look like a standard video game, it looks like a piece of interactive cinema that wants to rip your chest open and make you feel something real. The risk of this turning into a hollow gimmick is massive, and we have to acknowledge that. But if the writers can match the sheer emotional resonance of the visuals we just saw, this won't just be a game, it will be a cultural moment. Keep your eyes on this one because it has the potential to break the mold entirely.
It is my fate.
1666 Amsterdam. If you've been following gaming history, 1666. Amsterdam is nothing short of a miracle. This is the passion project of Patrice Désilets, the creative mind behind the original Assassin's Creed, and it has been trapped in a corporate legal hellscape for over a decade. Watching this trailer felt like seeing an old friend finally break free from chains. They dropped a 30-minute prologue on Steam right alongside the reveal, and looking at the grimy, plague-ridden streets of 17th century Amsterdam, you can see the raw DNA of pure historical stealth. It's dark, historical, and uncompromised by modern open-world bloat. It doesn't look like it's trying to appeal to everyone, and honestly, thank God for that. This is an author-director, finally getting to show the world his vision without a publisher cutting off his wings. It's rough around the edges, sure, but it has a creative spark that money simply cannot buy.
Oui? Yes?
Resident Evil Veronica. They finally did it. The survival horror community has spent years begging, pleading, and screaming into the void for this exact announcement. Capcom opened the showcase by pulling back the curtain on Resident Evil Veronica, a ground-up RE Engine remake of Code Veronica. When Claire Redfield walks into Chris's apartment in that opening shot, the lighting, the absolute silence, the overwhelming sense of dread, it gives you goosebumps. And that ending shot with Hunk? Absolute chills. This isn't just another remake to pad out Capcom's fiscal year. Code Veronica is the true connective tissue of the classic series lore, seeing it treated with the same prestige, the same terrifying graphical fidelity, and the same modern gameplay overhaul as RE4 is an absolute dream. It feels dirty, it feels terrifying, and it proves that Capcom knows exactly how to capture the beautiful, tragic essence of classic survival horror. 2027 cannot come soon enough. Blood Message. NetEase came to play with Blood Message. From a pure kinetic standpoint, this was one of the most visually impressive action trailers of the night. The martial arts choreography mixed with dark, supernatural elements flows like water. Every punch, every shadow dash, every counterattack looks like an absolute blast to execute. But here is where we have to be completely honest with ourselves. NetEase is a juggernaut, but their track record with monetization, live service loops, and long-term player respect can be incredibly polarizing. If Blood Message is a premium single-player character action game that lets us dive deep into its combat systems without a mobile game economy holding it back, it could easily be a sleeper hit. The potential is undeniable, but as consumers, we have to keep our guards up until we see exactly how this game intends to treat our time and our wallets.
Wyveria negated the weight of buildings and mounted the sky.
Monster Hunter Wilds. Ascendance. Capcom wasn't done blowing our minds. Monster Hunter Wilds isn't even fully out in the wild yet, and they just dropped the reveal for its massive expansion, Ascendance. The trailer takes us completely off the ground, soaring into a land above the clouds where Master Rank awaits. When that massive Elder Dragon parted the clouds at the end of the trailer, pure, unadulterated hype. Capcom understands the emotional loop of Monster Hunter perfectly. The thrill of the hunt, the respect for the ecosystems, and the terrifying awe of facing a godlike creature with nothing but your weapon and your instincts. Ascendance looks like it's pushing the verticality of the game to its absolute limit. It's massive, it's intimidating, and it gives veterans exactly what they want. A reason to push their skills to the absolute breaking point. Star Wars Zero Company. No lightsabers, no chosen ones, no space magic. Star Wars Zero Company from Respawn and Bit Reactor is exactly what the Star Wars universe desperately needs right now. It is a gritty, boots-on-the-ground tactical squad game that treats the galactic conflict like actual war. The trailer shows soldiers covered in dirt, diving behind crumbling cover, firing blasters into the dark. It feels reminiscent of the cult classic Republic Commando, emphasizing squad synergy and tactical positioning over arcade shooting. There is a deep, grounded emotion to seeing the Star Wars universe from the perspective of the regular soldiers who don't have the Force to save them. If Respawn can nail the tactical depth and give us a story that captures the true weight of brotherhood in a galaxy far, far away, this could easily be one of the best Star Wars games ever made.
Humanity's fate will be determined by one final sacrifice.
Lords of the Fallen 2. The dark fantasy genre is crowded, but Lords of the Fallen 2 is making a fierce claim for the throne. The first game made huge strides with its unique dual-realm mechanic, but it suffered from performance issues and occasional design frustrations. This trailer felt like a statement of intent. We listened, we learned, and we are back to finish the job. The visual design of the bosses shown here is utterly horrific in the best way possible. The atmosphere drips with decay, sorrow, and an oppressive weight. You can feel the loneliness of the world just by looking at the environments, if the developers have truly optimized the engine and tightened up the tracking on the combat. This sequel could easily transition the franchise from a solid Souls-like alternative to an absolute genre leader. It looks uncompromising, brutal, and beautifully tragic. Virtua Fighter Crossroads fighting game fans, wake up. The legendary forefather of 3D fighters is officially back. Virtua Fighter Crossroads made its debut, and it looks like Sega is finally ready to reclaim their crown. Virtua Fighter has always been the purest fighting game. No flashy fireballs, no gimmicks, just pure martial arts, frame data, and spacing. Crossroads preserves that deep technical soul, but wraps it in a stunning modern visual engine. The character models look incredibly sharp, and the weight of the animations is flawless. The challenge here will be making a game this historically difficult accessible to a modern audience without losing the legendary depth that veterans worship. It's a razor-thin tightrope to walk, but seeing Sega put real, serious resources behind this franchise again is beautiful. The king has returned to the arena. Haex, then came Haex. This was easily the most unsettling, deeply uncomfortable trailer of the entire showcase. It doesn't rely on cheap jump scares. It builds an atmospheric, psychological terror that crawls under your skin and stays there. The art direction is profoundly weird, utilizing distorted perspective and disturbing environmental design to make you feel like you are losing your mind right alongside the protagonist. Psychological horror is incredibly difficult to nail because it requires restraint. It requires a developer to understand that what we don't see is far more terrifying than what we do. Haex looks like it has that restraint. It's experimental, it's deeply artsy, and it's going to be an absolute masterpiece for horror purists who want to be genuinely disturbed, not just startled.
Yet, from the outskirts of Midgard, to the sun-drenched Medeal Archipelago, to the warrior nation of Wutai, simply pick a direction and set sail. But how can you be expected to protect the whole world at once? You'll need to cover ground fast.
Final Fantasy VII Revelation Jeff Keighley saved the most emotional bomb for the absolute end. Final Fantasy VII Revelation, the grand climactic conclusion to the remake trilogy. Seeing the airship Highwind take to the skies in full gorgeous modern graphical fidelity. If you grew up with the 1997 original, it is physically impossible not to feel a lump in your throat. They brought Matt Mercer on stage to introduce Vincent Valentine's gameplay, and watching him dance through combat with his cloak flowing and gun firing was breathtaking. But more than the new job systems or the multi-platform day one release announcement, what truly strikes you about Revelation is the heavy emotional stakes. The party is grieving, Sephiroth is nearing godhood. The world is literally teetering on the edge of total annihilation. Square Enix isn't just making a game. They are completing a legacy. It looks grand, it looks deeply emotional, and it promises to be an unforgettable ending to a journey that has defined decades of our lives.
We have 2 drivers dead.
3 more in intensive care.
I'm done.
Clutch. And finally, closing out the racing front, we got a deep story trailer for Clutch, the new open-world racing title from former developers of the Forza Horizon series. We've seen plenty of racing games, but what makes Clutch look special is its focus on character and narrative within a driving ecosystem. The cars look phenomenal, the world looks incredibly lush, and the sense of speed is blistering. But the real test will be whether an open-world racing game can successfully make us care about its human characters without it feeling forced or cringeworthy. Given the pedigree of the talent behind it, the driving physics will almost certainly be flawless. If they can marry that elite handling with a genuinely engaging world and narrative structure, Clutch could easily become the new gold standard for open-world driving.